Welcome to Genoa's AGM, Annual General Meeting for 2021-2022. And I'm Trudy, and I'm the official public officer of Genoa Incorporated, which is an incorporated association in Australia. And I'm just really happy to be here and to be in this space with you all. And I also want to acknowledge before we keep moving on with the meeting that I at the moment am in Brisbane on the east coast of Australia, and I'm on Yagara and Turrbal land, which is the indigenous people of this local region that I'm from, and also to acknowledge that this land was never ceded. We are still on stolen land, and this has not been acknowledged in our country, in our region, and that that's what I'd like to say. And yeah, happy to pass it on to the team and to see how Genoa has done this past year and to plan for coming months and into the next year. Pass back to you, Kin and DJ.
Okay, thank you, Trudy. Yeah, I feel like inviting everyone to maybe a minute of attunement just before we really dive in, because you need to brace yourself to a lot of information that we have prepared. So I'm just gonna stop the recording just for now. Okay. So DJ have shared in the chat with you the link to the meeting notes of today and to the presentation slide as well. But of course, we're going to share it as we go. And before we start, I just want to quickly run through so you know the agenda of today. So we have done our check-in and catching up with each other and the attunement. And now we will bring you back to the previous AGM's note with some highlights of what happened in the last AGM. And then there will be President report of the activities in Genoa in 2021, followed by the financial report. And then we'll also share with you some updates of the office team in Genoa and the Network Stewards Circle. And after that, we're going to celebrate 2021 before having a small break, and then dive into the part about planning, visioning, and budget of 2022 this year. And we will end with any that we will see if there's any nomination or voting process necessary or any other businesses at the end of the meeting before we close. So that's the flow of today. At any given time, if you have any question, just feel free to just put them in the chat, and we'll take that up at the end of every presentation. Okay. So yeah, welcome again. This is a beautiful hello in different languages, although it's not enough, but just to see how diverse we are in this team. In Vietnamese, xin chào. And I'll go to the first slide of today, which is the summary of the previous AGM. Took place in January last year. And all of us here were present, I think. Oh, except for Luvian, who joined the team later. Yeah, we were missing Talea, Hiroko, and Sarah, but we will share this recording with them afterwards. And in the AGM last time, we also have an activity report of 2020. The year before last year, 2020, we really focused a lot on activities with ambassadors, and we also get the newsletter going really strong and frequent. And projects of last year were of 2020 were Regeneration, the beautiful online gathering, and also we get our website project started. We also have her run through the Treasury report of 2020 and plan a direction for 2021. And actually after the AGM of last year, we started a dreaming process to really put together the concrete plans and projects of 2021. And the dreaming process last year was facilitated by Hima in an adapted version of Dragon Dreaming. And we also, from this AGM, there was a need to review and revise the council description, which we later did it during the year. So that's a quick summary of the AGM minutes from last time, just to get everyone updated. And now we will move to the next part.
Sorry, just want to also inform everyone that it is the AGM, it is our official AGM for Genoa Incorporated, and there are some customary things that we are supposed to do legally. So, for example, now Kim has read the report, synopsis of our last meeting, and then someone from here needs to put their hand up and say they confirm, and then that the notes are accurate, and then someone has to say that they second that confirmation. So maybe we take a quick minute to see if anyone has any objections. If not, someone can propose that the meeting notes are accurate from last time. Or does anyone have any questions about the process?
So there seems to be no question as of now. I wonder if, especially among us, those who were there in the last AGM, if you are okay with this summary of the last minutes, then we can be good to go.
Yeah, sure, Kim. I think I can say that we are approving the AGM notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina.
And I'm seeing Trudy giving 2 thumbs up. Can I count you in as the seconder for the accuracy of the AGM notes?
Yeah, I think the notes are good. I think I don't think I can give approval because I'm the public officer. So
Yeah, and I'm the treasurer, so.
yeah, so it needs to be like, I think it normally leads one person officially to say
Okay.
are good and they approve, and then that's it. You just note that down, that they I think the word is approved, but I think there's another term. I can't remember what the term is. Yeah. As long as there's no objections, that's the most important.
Super. Okay, thank you, everyone. Yeah, we're also learning this legal process as we go, so bear with us. Next year is the Genoa activity report of 2021. So I'm gonna share this part, but at the end, if there's anything I missed, please feel free to add in. And also, you can also have questions about activities of Genoa in the last year as well. So DJ, if you can go to the next slide. Okay, as a quick summary of highlights, and there will be more to come after. So this year we have successfully approved also the council circle description. I forgot to put that on here. And we activate the Wisdom Keepers Circle of Genoa. And in the most recent newsletter, we have shared about the Wisdom Keepers, and we have invited many elders and senior members of Genoa, and they agreed and support us to be on this Wisdom Keepers. And there will also be the council the circle where we come to for advice and input in different activities of Genoa this year. You can go to Genoa website to see the list of current Wisdom Keepers. It's really inspiring because you will see many similar faces of people in the region Like there's Trudy, there's Hiroko, Andrew, Sarah. There's also Jane, Jun Jandai from Pan, Hai Chiao, Robina, and Morak, and Chris Clippings. Yeah, and I'm still inviting more people into the Wisdom Keepers and waiting to hear back from them as well. So this list of Wisdom Keepers will be updated as we go. And secondly, throughout the year of 2021, we have many workshops that were hosted by ambassadors, either online or in person. And that's a very happy thing this year that we started to have in-person gatherings. So there were workshops conducted by Jan and Genoa ambassadors to introduce about eco-village in different countries. There were one in India, in Taiwan, in the Philippines, and in Vietnam. And the one in person was the one in Taiwan, where Lubian and Hima hosted in the universities. And at the same time, in 2021, we have started a series of monthly community calls and have hosted 6 community calls with more than 150 participants, and a lot of them are from different eco-villages in the region. We also engage more than 300 people in different thematic workshops and conferences that I will be sharing a bit more about later. And we have a huge social media reach this year. That's really a good sign for us. This is also a step up from the previous year. And to the next slide, please. Just want to welcome Talea and continue my presentation of Genoa activities in 2021. And so now this is about a slide to go in details in gathering and partnerships. So last year, at the end of the year, we have a year-end gathering hosted by the Regeneration team called Gifts from the Heart, where we have music, we have sharing, poems, and games with participation of more than 40 people in the network from different countries. And also this last year, from October to November, Genoa partnered with organizations in the Philippines, Kai Farm, Local Lab, Kids for Kids, and Met Trouble to host the Green Unconference 2021. It was, I think it was in 11 days, same days with the COP 26. And all of these sections in the Green Unconference were live streamed on Genoa's Facebook, and we have in total 179 registrations from people in the network, but also people from the network of our partners as well. And last year, we also have stepped up our game in the partnership section, where we have put together partnership strategy and also a template of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, to share with our partner. We also have checked back with the partners that were there before for Genoa, and we also have built new partnerships with a few organizations, like you can see here, Ubiquity, Hands Handmade, COPSA, which is Conscious Food System Alliance, and the Earthland Express in India. Next, please. And on communication, we have produced 11 issues of the newsletter last year, with constant featuring of updates and stories around the network, and also opportunities for funding, for collaboration, for events. And the newsletter audience grew from 405 in February to 626 in January of 2022 this year. And there were also 235 content created and shared in Facebook social media by our communication team and volunteers. And we also have more than 33,000 reach across social media platform. And we were using mostly Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram are very young, but also very active. And of course, as you know, the newsletter. Next, please. I can go a bit fast, but please just feel free to ask questions at the end as well. For project, the website project started in 2020 and has successfully ended in 2021 with a lot of hard work from Trudy and Darren, and there was also some other volunteers that joined. And the website is now still running and constantly maintained by our office team. And Regeneration also is a project started in 2020, and the first cycle ended in April last year. And we, after a month, 2 months of rest, we resembled a new team and now have kickstarted the second cycle of Regeneration in August. And the team has built an updated course design business model for Regeneration. And we are at the moment focusing on marketing and finalizing content to get ready for this second cycle to run in April 2022. Another project that came up last year, which is really about us listening to the needs of the network, is the Healing Circle. Because as you know, there were a lot of turbulence happening around the world in the last year, and there's this big need for inner regeneration and for inner healing from our own team in Genoa, but from friends of Genoa, members of the network that we can see. So from November 2021, we started this series of online healing circle. Last year, it was twice a month in new moon and full moon day. So the dates actually changes every month, depending on the moon cycle. Next slide, please. And another really exciting news that we would love to share was that last year we really activate the volunteer cycle of Genoa. We have a database of, I think, more than 100 volunteers registered through either Gen or Genoa website. And last year, when we sent a call out for volunteer, we received 37 registrations. And now from that, we have later 16 volunteers that stay with us. Others have dropped either because of their personal commitment or because they were not well physically to continue with us. And volunteers were put into different working groups last year to support the work of projects or the office. And at the moment, by this time of 2022, we are having 5 active volunteers, 1 intern from the Netherlands, and 1 volunteers from the program Erasmus. The Erasmus, I forgot what that stands for just of now, sorry. But
European Solidarity Corps, which is funded by Erasmus. Yeah.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah. And this volunteer was introduced to Genoa from Gen International. Alisa, she will be with us for 11 months, starting from last November. And we also had a big learning curve on working with volunteers, because this is the first time that we received so many volunteers at the same time. And the whole team basically need to learn how to work with volunteers, how to onboard and work with them efficiently. And we also have produced a volunteer onboarding package that is ready to serve any volunteers that come in later on from now. So that's about volunteer. And you can see here the faces of our volunteer call. This is our volunteer onboarding call last year. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. On fundraising, I'll share now, but Amina, who was our fundraising coordinator, please feel free to share it more later if I miss anything. So we have had a really long and deep conversation around fundraising last year. At the beginning of the year, it was not really focused in our plan, but later on through the Dreaming Circle process, we have decided to really put fundraising at one of the central of Genoa last year. And with the really strong support from Amina, and later on, Amina also stepped in and become the fundraising coordinator for Genoa. We, in June, we hosted a call with the whole network. It's a sharing call on fundraising and self-sufficient strategies to also pick the brain of people from the network on their experience with fundraising. And this is the online photo here. You can see it's from that call. We also, last year, Jen has led 2 fundraising training workshops led by Maeve, and members of Genoa have joined both of the trainings and learned to apply from what she shared into the strategy of Genoa. one thing that we didn't do very well was that we planned to start a community of practice on fundraising and income regeneration, but we haven't been able to do that by the end of the year, and hopefully maybe soon we'll be able to pick that up. But another highlight is that during all of the partnerships agreements, there's one agreement that actually can bring in fund for Genoa. So we have agreement with Hands Handmade, which is a social entrepreneur based in India, but they work with artisan in the Philippines, and they have agreed to donate 1% of their profit every year to Genoa. So this is also a new direction that we have approached and successfully get this agreement with Hands Handmade. And we also have run different strategies and tactics for fundraising for Region Nation. So we did an online fundraising campaign on Indiegogo. We also reached out to donors in person, and we also applied for grant. And we have successfully raised money from Indiegogo, not as much as we set out to, but it was a very nice amount from people in the network. And we also have successfully raised the grant from Lush refund grant as well, that we can talk more in the plan of 2022. But all in all, fundraising was also a big learning curve for us, I think, and has bring in some fruits of success. And that's fundraising. Next slide, please. Oh, that's the last slide that I have. So those are the different summaries of different activities and working circles of Genoa in 2021. If the team has any thing to add, please feel free to. And also if you have any question, this is the time to raise them. Thank you.
I don't have a specific question, but I'm just so excited about all of this. Like, there's so much that you guys did last year, and it's just so it's inspiring, it's exciting, it's like, yeah, really great to see so many of the circles in play and moving, and all this energy coming into Genoa. You know, so much has come from all of that. It's amazing. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you, Trudy.
Maybe one of the questions is some of the things that Genoa is learning. Does that, like, I mean, maybe it'll come up in the other slides or other presentation, is how much do you translate into that you can share as lessons or insights to other organizations and networks? You know, I think, like, for example, the partnership with Hands Handmade and 1% of the profit going to Genoa, I think that's a really huge accomplishment. And it's a model that if it works and there's a good profit that comes, it's something that's really valuable to other not-for-profits. So things like that, you know, just curious, like, how much is there a space for sharing this more widely with other organizations, communities, networks? Yeah. And also the thing with the volunteers and how you were able to engage and keep them going, and the calls with them and getting them set up, you know, that's also really big. Those are just broad questions.
Thank you, Trudy. And yeah, thanks for the question. So I invite members in Genoa, if you feel called to reply to the questions, please do.
Maybe Amina can share about the partnership with Hands Handmade.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Luvian. So I think I'll begin by just addressing Trudy's comment and questions. Yes, I think we've seeded some great experimental models, Trudy, and time will tell how, you know, beneficial they are and how committed people are towards partnerships that they've forged in the now, because everything is so, I guess, agile and changing in our system. So personally, I would like to give it another 6 months till things settle down. And then maybe we can create some content around sharing it with the network. So for sure. And anything that I guess needs to be shared and content needs to be created, it needs more hands and minds for that. And right now, I think the office team is quite, they have quite a lot on their plate already. And regarding Hans Handmade, I think was something that, you know, I've looked at NGOs and I've looked at how we can shift NGOs into an entrepreneurial mode or inspire social enterprises to support nonprofits. Because a lot of social enterprises themselves in the future want to start foundations and nonprofits. So instead of them doing that, why not have them partner with nonprofits? So that's where the idea came up with. And also to look at, you know, other, I think, commercial brands who want to have an impact and haven't really found the consciousness or the strategy or the connections and networks to do so. So how can we kind of also join hands with them where they continue to give to us that are at grassroots level, you know, shape-shifting the future. So, yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. Yeah, I also resonate with what Amina shared. I think that we would love to maybe observe and see how the fruits of the whole process of last year will bear this year, and then in the process to noting down what we see as like learning points, what works, what didn't, and then we can when we feel ready, we can totally share that with the bigger network, especially if we are gonna be able to connect to people who also are very passionate about social entrepreneurship and financial sustainability or self-sufficiency strategies. And these are the topics that would certainly invite sharing of learnings of practices. And on the front with volunteers, I wonder if Luvian, you want to share something? Luvian, are you there? Otherwise, I can also share it a bit. Okay.
Yeah. With regards to volunteers, right? Yes, I think like with volunteers, well, there have been, for us, it's just like what Ken shared, it's a huge learning curve. We have been able to attract volunteers. However, at the moment, we are still, when the volunteers are in, we are, this time we came in a big amount. Like, for example, my communication circle, we have like 3 or 4 or 5 volunteers. And we came to realize that organizing and coordinating volunteers takes more energy and effort than we previously thought. So we are thinking to change and kind of like make changes to our volunteer system to suit our needs more. So, and suit our operations and how we function, our preferences. So I think for sharing about volunteer, we still have a lot of things to figure out before we are able to share.
Thanks, Luvian. Yeah, so it is a big learning curve in a sense that we didn't really forecast correctly how much time and effort we need to spend on developing the volunteer system and also working with volunteers. And also, I think this is just a very natural thing that after people register to volunteer with you, a portion of number of people wouldn't drop because people wouldn't realize that they have other commitments or they can't really go through with what they thought it was at the beginning. So just be prepared for the numbers drop. I think that's totally fine. We also was in a very good conversation and communication with volunteers, even though they cannot go with us anymore. And like Luvian said, like really set an amount of volunteers that we can have the time and space to onboard and to work with them, because it would be unfair if we receive volunteers and then not having the time or the energy to work with them. So that's also another learning curve for us. And we are still in discussion on how we want to see the volunteer program to go this year, but it's very likely that we will receive volunteers in more like a toned down level. So we will reduce the number, and also we'll have a clearer structure when inviting volunteers in. So that's the learning curve for us. Yeah, so any other comments or questions before we move to the next part? Oh, and I just want to also acknowledge Talea sharing in the chat to acknowledge the work of the operation team. So thank you, Talea, for that, and also the work of Amina. Amina was not, technically was not part of the office team, but she works with us just like a member of the office team. She has been doing a lot of work for Genoa last year. Okay, so if we are ready to move on, the next part will be the sharing of our treasurer's report, financial report of 2021. I invite you, DJ.
Thank you, Ken. Right. So we have the budget to actual. This is the summary right here. Budgeted is in gray, actuals in green, and the variance is in orange. So just a second, please. Now, there's another thing to consider, that we have a different report for the Gaia Trust reporting. So that is this section here, because we are only reporting separately to Gaia Trust. You can also see the activities budget to actual report here of the Gaia Trust. And now I will present the full activity, the full financial report for Genoa. So in total, the opening balance for last year, 2021, we had opening balance of £12,175, and then we received 2 tranches from Gen for the financial year, and we received a further £550 from the F4G campaign, and we received a further £737 as donations. Let me just ask if you have any questions from this slide. I feel like we will take questions from each slide. If anyone have any questions, I can just explain as we go. So the variance, so this is how much we budgeted. Income was 24,000, including everything from the opening balance as well, and actuals, we had an increase more than what we budgeted. We received an additional £1,645. The total expenditure budgeted was £24,452. The actual spending was only £15,809. So we had a surplus of £8,643. So together, this entire amount was a surplus, which was £10,289 at the start of this year, or the closing balance of 2021. I will now move to the next slide.
DJ, there's a question in the chat from Trudy. Where did that extra come from?
Yeah, the variance, what was that? Where did that come from? What was that from?
Yes, the variance is coming from an additional 200 from the FOG.
Okay. Yeah.
And the 737 that is coming from Amina's efforts of bringing in funds from a donor that joined in for the Green Conference.
Okay. Thanks.
Right. Thank you for your question, Trudy. This is a breakdown of the incoming funds. As I said, this was the opening balance and this was the actuals. Then the Gaia Trust transfers coming in, that was as planned. We have the additional F4G 200 of pounds coming in. Then we have the donations coming in from Amina's efforts. And for projects, we also had the income coming from the first cycle of Regen Nations, along with sorry, just a second. Along with a small income from the Healing Circle and a small income coming from partnering with the Green Conference. All right, those are the projects. We move on to the expenditure. Again, the budgeted actuals and variants are as the such colors, and we have the Genoa Staff Training Fund budgeted was £1,000. The actual was £404, and we have a balance of £595 actually. And the stipends we budgeted for 9,840. We have the actuals of 10,000 and a variance of £240. Project development, again, project development is number 5. Most of the project development fund was reserved for Regen Nations. Give me one more second. And some of these expenses were for the first cycle of Regen Nations, and some of it was only for the second cycle. Yes, and we don't have any legal fees right now. We will still have a budget line for the years to come for legal expenses, just in case we did have. Thank you, Keen, for acknowledging the Dragon Dreaming course as well. There was certain income coming from the Dragon Dreaming course as well, for close to £150, another £150. And the other section is usually what we in accounting do is we take the remainder and lock it down as other expenses. So that £3,079 is actually the contingent fee coming into 2022. The full budget to actual report, you can find it here. If you click the link on this, there is also, sorry. And I will also put the link to the master financials of Genoa. For your reference, you can review it now or later. It's an open document. I will take questions or any comments.
I'm curious. So you said that I'm just curious, just I know the numbers are all there. So the Dragon Dreaming, the income for Genoa was around £150. So that was Genoa partnering with Liz and then doing the promotions and organizing. So that's just interesting to know that. And then the Green Conference, was it the way that it was structured that the income didn't come from ticket sales, but it came as a donation? from a donor straight to Genoa. Is that how that income came from the Green Unconference?
There was two streams of income for Genoa from the Green Conference. One was $1,000 donation through one of Amina's contracts. So that's separate to what we made from the Green Conference by partnering up as an organization of the Green Conference from the sales, not from the sales, the gross revenue was split into the partners. And received, again,
how much was that roughly?
Sorry.
That was there was a £700. You don't have to give me that, but I guess I'm guessing kind of roughly what.
The 700 plus pounds was the converted amount of $1,000.
Oh, what, that was the 1,000? Okay, yeah.
Yes, and from TGU we received 146.30 pounds as a partner organization.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just good, interesting to know this also, like when Genoa hosted that, you know, the Restore and Restory, and we were also looking at like what were the amounts, what could we share with partners, and yeah, they're just good to, I'm just mentally checking that in my mind. Yeah, thanks. Yep.
Right. Thanks, Trudy. Anyone else with questions or comments? Or if anyone would like to add something to this, Kin, Ruby, and Amina been working closely. Right, we are getting lots of thumbs up. Thank you. I would like to ask for everyone's blessings on not just the financial report, but also the president's report, the activity report that Kin shared just before this. So if anyone has any final comments, or if anyone would like to give their blessings on the work we've done for last year.
Maybe I can share. Yeah, I of course give my full blessings, but also I just want to acknowledge that well, I've been there through the year, and I know this year has not been easy for any of us, not just, you know, like with what happening in the world, but also personally. So actually being able to pull off these amount of activities and to work on fundraising and keeping the finance straight was really a lot of effort. So I would just love to acknowledge that and say thanks to the whole team, to Genoa Council, with Talea, Karen, Amina, to Amina as fundraising coordinator, and to DJ and Luvian as well. Especially to DJ, because I know last year has been really hard for you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, everyone. All right, let's move to the next section. Thank you, Tanya. All right, we have the office team update, and as you can see, there's a beautiful bright ring on Kin's finger as well here. Reporting for 2021. So the office team update is going to be consisting of some highlights from last year, personal highlights, and also what we've been doing till right now in 2022. So most of our time we've been preparing reports and presentations like this, and also trying to really see what kind of allocations and considerations we can make to save more on the budget and to be more efficient for this year, for 2022. we also basically streamlined all our roles and really cut down more of what we were going to do. So we've been reviewing our roles from last year. We've been really putting a lot of thought into what it might look this year. And yeah, mostly we've been preparing for this meeting as well so far. And all right, does anyone, Kin, Lubian, would like to add to some things we've been doing this year? We've also been doing the newsletter. And if there's nothing to add, then we can move to the rest of the personal updates. Cool. Personal update from DJ. I will be taking my leave from the Genoa office functions at the end of the last day of June. I already sent out an email about that. So yeah, it's a bittersweet thing for me, but I feel like it is now time for me to really step into the opportunities that are also presenting in my life within Sri Lanka as well. I want to have a full focused effort to building something with the values of eco-village, but also strongly rooted with permaculture, somewhere in the south of the country. So I'm also quite fatigued by the online work aspect of it and the accounting aspect of it, the financial management side, which I left long time ago, hoping that I'll never have to do again. I had to do the last few years as well. So I'm finally, hopefully finally going to let that part of my life go as well. So really excited to leave the Genoa office functions, but also I'm feeling very grounded and also very happy and confident that Kin and Lubian will be staying on and keeping their full focus. And I think they have some exciting updates for you as well. So I pass it on to the two of you.
Yeah, so maybe I just share quickly now, because we do plan to share in details about this when we talk about the plan for 2022. But yeah, as you see that DJ is leaving the office, and this is a major change for us, as DJ has been holding a lot for Genoa in the past few years. So now with Trudy has left the office, the Genoa operation last year, and now DJ leaving this year, we feel like it's also a time for us to really look at the system of Genoa office, how we run, how we are serving the purpose of the network. And we will be share more on that later, but we have developed a project to really dive deep into this. And yeah, to see how the next era for Genoa would be like. Luvian, would you want to add something? Maybe just one more thing is that why revising our role in the office? This process we did through, I think, 4 meetings. Each was like 3 hours and one of them was 4 hours. We were really sharing really deep on how grateful we are being a part of Genoa, but also how personally we also would like to spend more time with on the ground project. So how to really have this balance of like online work with Genoa and our personal work with projects in our countries as well. So it's been challenging, but we're also trying to figure that out. And I think we all are. Yeah.
For now, I don't have anything to add because I will talk about this project more later.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What was the last comment?
I was just saying I don't have anything to add at the moment because I'll be talking more about the Metamorph project later.
DJ, I just want to say that I'm also very grateful that you've stayed for so long and just seen so many things through, and yeah, also really happy for you that you've decided to take a step in your own on your own pathway, and yeah, it's going to be really good for you. Yeah, I'm very happy for
Thank
you.
you, Trudy.
Yeah, and I think you're also leaving Genoa in really good hands, and that's also, you can walk away with that peace and ease, you know. Yeah, like I did also last year. Was, yeah, you all are doing amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Trudy.
I also want to say that I'm only leaving the office function, so if there are projects and there's going to be projects, I'm still going to be around for quick and focused things.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to read out loud also Talia shared in the chat about her appreciation to DJ. Yeah, we'll miss you, especially me and Luvian, I think. And yeah, you've been a true, kind, and gentle soul and holder of energy. Really grateful for your work, and I think we all share that. And DJ also shared with us that he would, even after his leave, he would be around to just support us if we need help or questions. So just want to say thank you in advance for that as well. Yeah, just like Trudy has always been helping us even after she left. So I just take a one deep breath in, filled with appreciation to DJ before we move to the next part. And for this, I'm also would share a lot of appreciation as well for the Network Stewards Circle of Genoa. So the Network Stewards Circle, as you know, last year came out from the restructuring process of GEN, and each region has 3 representatives. So Genoa, we started with the team of 3 with Talea, Amina, and me. And then later on, we invite Karen to be a part of Genoa Network Steward Circle, as we see it would be greatly helpful for Genoa to have Karen with bringing her perspective from the network in China, but also it was quite challenging for us because time-wise, meetings with other Gen regions always at the hours that really was difficult for Talea to join. So with Karen on board, we now having 4 members of the NSC in Genoa, and we have been supporting each other throughout the year. The NSC has frequent meetings every month. Started with every 2 weeks, and then later on there were like sometime every 3 weeks. But basically we meet really frequently to update each other on the process and also on what's happening in Gen NSC at the international level as well. So we have been also representing Genoa in Gen NSC circles with meetings, but also there were working groups inside the Gen NSC that we have been actively involved with. And since the formation of Genoa NSC, we have discussed, and that's where we initiate the idea of hosting community calls every month, where we invite members of network to come and share updates about themselves, to listen to the update from the Eco-Village network. And also we hold each community call with one thematic topic, so people can share on that topics. And that's how it was last year. This year we'll change it around a bit, but I'll share about that later. We also can see how with the involvement of Genoa NSC, we have been able to oversee Genoa strategy and how it's aligned with GEN's, and connect with national network as well. So last year we've been connecting closely still with Gen Japan, Gen Australia, not so much with Next Gen Korea, as they were also going through their own process, but we hopefully will connect more with them this year, and also with the network in China. there has been a lot of development in the Chinese equivalence network as well, and we are in contact with them along the way. So I personally would really appreciate the work of the Genoa NSC, because it's really benefit me as the network coordinator, because I can see a lot of engagement in the network follow the existence of the NSC. So having Talea, Aminia, and Karen there to really hold and bind and weave the networks together was really helpful. So I would love to just share appreciation to the whole NSC for that. And also at the same time, I see that the visibility of Genoa in gens in general was also increased since we have the NSC. So we were able to share more what we are doing to the bigger network, and also because of the active participation of our members in the Gen NSC, people are really appreciating Genoa's work and Genoa NSC. So I would invite Amina, Talia, and Karen, if you have anything to add, please feel free to.
Kin, thank you so much. I just wanted to also acknowledge your work and appreciate, I think you're like the string that holds all the beads together. So thank you for weaving us together and keeping us informed and inspired and connected, and for doing all the detailed work and all the follow-ups and the emails, and with your very happy, peaceful, friendly energy. I think that's what's really nourishing us to keep moving forward and keep weaving more people and networks and more profit and income into our network. So a big thank you hug to Kin, and for her work in the team and in the network, in the NSC and everywhere else.
Yes, I totally agree with Amina. Because of all of the people here, especially Kin, and I felt that after I entered this family, I felt more got support and got the power and energy to do what my heart really wants me to do. Before, sometimes I felt I need more energy and support and strength and like a direction, instructing, something like that. But after and participate the meetings of NSC and other meetings in Genova, I felt I am a member of the Genova of NSC, and I have something to contribute. So it gives me more warmth and strength to keep going, especially when I've been through the tough situation, the suffering period. So yes, I'm so gratitude that you're existing and all the works we have done together for last year. Yes, I feel I'm very powerful for 2022. I'm sure I will do a lot of things. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Talia, we can.
Can you see me?
Yeah, yes.
I can't see myself, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to also emphasize what has already been said before me. Actually, in my personal view, with the lovely Trudy being at the helm for quite some time before you took the leadership role, so to speak, we have this saying in New Zealand, and it goes like this: when the leadership is strong, and then that leadership goes forward to to co-create in other paradigms and other projects, then the next person that takes that place has big shoes to fill. And you have really filled those shoes. I would like to reiterate that to you, Kin, with that beautiful smiling face and cool, calm and collected way of working. And the communication that you provide is clear and concise, considering that English is not actually your first language. So you never cease to amaze me in terms of your leadership, in terms of how you organize us, as well as your own work within the operations in the office of Genoa, and how you continue to manage to keep this, beautiful energy and demeanor to keep us all inspired and motivated. So thank you. I thank you all, actually, DJ, Luvian, and the volunteers that I have been privileged to come across at different times during the different gatherings that we have co-created together. So considering we have had a very challenging year, and as you know, I've had a very challenging year here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, with my work becoming overwhelmingly huge. I think it was a great move that we added Karen into the mix of our NEC. And so I really do believe that those agile strategies that you actually brought to the floor and brought to the forefront alongside Sister Amina, who's been just so instrumental in keeping the wheels turning for Genoa, I would like to really let you know that I'm so grateful that when some of the absences, like myself, are not there in certain times, then we have others in the background there coming to the forefront to continue to have a presence on behalf of Genoa. So thank you all. Thank you one and all. And it's wonderful to see you, Trudy, again. Hilda.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Talia. Personally, but also, I think we all really appreciate and resonate with what you shared. I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to take a group photo because I was really happy to see Talia on the screen. So if you're Karen and Amina, if you can also open your camera. Yeah, let's take a group photo. And DJ, would you please be our cameraman as usual? Super.
All right. Say Genoa in 3, 2, 1. Genoa.
Genoa.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's so nice to see all of you. So yeah, I really also, again, appreciating all the work all of you have done. And it sounds like such a turbulent year. And I was saying, Thalia, before you joined, I'd love to have individual catch-ups with you all, to just on a personal level as well. It's work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a big year for all of us, and I think like me too also would like to check in deeper with you, because I'm sure a lot has happened since the time that you joined with Permaculture for Refugee. So yeah, let's catch up sometimes if we can after this. We would love to have a little break after this, but before the break, we will really go into this celebration mood. Everyone was sharing how grateful we are being part of this whole community, a virtual community, but it's really strong and feels like a family. Yeah, so I would love to, I'm not sure if there's a better way to celebrate, but I would love to just invite everyone to really take a minute and send a lot of appreciation energy into this circle. We can do that by let's close the slide and then just look at each other, really embrace, breathe into ourselves, these faces with the energy, with the spirit that was so strong and so positive and helpful. Yeah, and also acknowledging that we are here because of the work of others before us, those who are not here, but have been here with us throughout the way, and their work have tremendously affected Genoa in a good way and have laid the path for us. So we cannot be here, we cannot do our job without them. So appreciating you, this circle, but also appreciating all of the elders and the seniors that have gone before us. Beautiful. Thank you all so much. Yeah. Yeah, and we still have a later part on our plan for 2022 ahead, and I feel like this would be a good time for us to take a little break, also to let all of these emotions and gratefulness sink in, also to do any bio break that you need. So let's come back here in 2-3 minutes. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Okay, and the rest of this call will be to share and discuss different points on Genoa plan and budget of 2022. And I would invite Luvian to start us off with a few sharing on the direction and some strategy that we have drafted out. So over to you, Luvian.
Okay, thank you, Ken. DJ, can we go to the next slide? So basically, after DJ shared that he is going to step out with sometime in the middle of this year, me and Ken had like some call to discuss about where do we want to, how do we see Genoa in this year, what are the things that we want to do. So after this discussion, we are thinking, we came up with this idea of like tuning down Genoa activity, especially the external ones, to the minimum, so that we have like minimum loading for the office team. So that we will still have community calls. Previously, it's once every month, but this time we will tune it down to maybe like once every 2 months or something. And then with regards to communications, we will be focusing mostly on the newsletters every month. And then there will still be projects, but these projects will be carried out by the project team, and it will receive like little to no funding from Genoa, perhaps. But so this project, the people that are willing to do something to carry out a project, they will have to fundraise by themselves, and we will be there supporting by networking to people within Genoa or something like that. And then we will have this we will have this metamorph project that I will talk more in detail in a few minutes. But the basic idea is just like what Ken say, is for us to get into to review what is in the general structure at the moment and see how we can improve it. And then with the outcome of this project, we will go on a council meeting of January structuring sometime in July or August, and to kind of like take into account the research that we've done and see how, go on a decision-making process together with the council and see how we would like to go about with Genoa. And then there will be recalibration of Genoa's plan this year, especially for the second half of the year, and see if we want to take what kind of activities we want to take on now that we have more space. We will consider have some recalibration according to the situation at that time. But one thing that is quite certain, I think, is the fundraising will be one main activity in the second half for next year. So it will be on September to December next year. So this is a rough, very rough idea about what we have in mind in 2022. So next slide, DJ, is some of the projects that may or may not happen in Genoa this year. We have the regeneration project that's for sure is going to happen and is already in the process of happening. And we have a healing circle that's led by Amina that will keep on happening too. And we are open to collaborate with ambassadors next gen for to do something together. For example, I did like with Hima a talk and a workshop session introducing eco villages in Taiwan. So that can happen too as projects with Genoa from ambassadors. And then there's this art and culture exhibition that Amina's friend is wanting to initiate, an eco village video series that DJ is having in mind. And there's this thing of the gathering. So we are supposed to have a biannual gathering this year, but we will keep on something whether we are in the position to do so, and it's so like who are the people who's gonna do it. So okay, next DJ. With that, I'd like to share about the Metamorph project more in detail, and I would like to share my screen actually. DJ.
Before that, can I just jump in quickly and share that since from last year, we also discussed about like the self-sufficient strategies, and we also acknowledge that there are many ideas of wonderful projects in Genoa. But since last year, it has been really difficult to allocate the funding from Genoa to support project directly from the beginning. So we also invite every project to have a portion of fundraising for it. And it really depends on the nature of the project and the direction of the team that take on this project to see how and where would they want to raise the fund for their project. So that would be included in every project, not just the fundraising campaign for Genoa as a whole, but each project needs to have this element of fundraising or income generation as well.
And just a quick question, the Gaia Trust funds, is it for the whole of this year or just for half of the year?
It is for half of this year. For the
Half,
first
yeah, and so that's why the fundraising is also really important in the second half, because we don't have the extra, the other 6,000. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
So before I go into Metamorph project, is there any more questions or comments about this year's plan?
Lubin, maybe I can do a quick time check with everyone who is here. We are scheduled to end the meeting in about 30 minutes, but we might be over time for an additional 15 minutes, I suppose. Would that be okay with everyone? Just want to double check.
DJ, I will need to leave in the next.
Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will leave in the next maybe 15-20 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Amina. We will try to hold the voting process before you leave. Go ahead, Lubin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just gonna share my screen here, and can you see?
Just for the sake of time, maybe we will just share really briefly about the Metamorph project now, and we can send you our proposals in more details after.
Yeah. Okay, so just brief. I'm gonna run through this as quick as possible, and send the proposal later. But basically, like the background of this project is when me and Ken sent in. Being in the office team, we are sensing that there are like some things that we like to note. One is about the working system that we have. We feel like it's quite heavy on administrative tasks, which not a lot of people are within Genoa is into. And also we also noticed that there are like some different interpretations on how Genoa should operate, and we haven't have like really clear ground rules or agreements on how to work together. There's also like with regards to human resources, we've noticing that people that's involved have been overworked and also under-supported. This creates some challenges in securing involvement and commitment from people. And then we also don't really haven't have really clear long-term vision and roadmap. And because our Genoa operations is very wide, the scope of operation is very wide, from education to advocacy and networking and so on. So we've been trying to do different things at the same time, and our resources have been dispersed, but the returns, outcomes, or impact are is not optimized. Also, we haven't been effective in communicating our purpose. So it usually takes time for people to understand about Genoa and what we do. And it's also because the info in Genoa comes is communication channels can be vague, blurry, and unorganized. This makes us slow in onboarding process for people to come and join us, get involved, and also slow for investors and donors or to decide whether they want to support us or not. So there's also like some key contexts in which in 2022 is, I think everyone already know, we already mentioned it about the need of having financial inflow with Gaia Trust funding running out. We have low reserves in Genoa bank account. It's estimated to be around 3,000 GPP of reserves left by the end of the year, with no income from Gaia Trust coming next year. And there's also major change in human resources. Trudy stepped out in last year and DJ is stepping out this year. And we have been having challenges in attracting and retaining involvement from team members. So with that, with this project, we'd like to go dive deep to the current structures of Genoa to understand and map out what works, what doesn't work, what needs to be kept, what needs to be adjusted and introduced to our working systems and the way we operate as a network and an organization. And then we'd like to also analyze the needs of different stakeholders in the network and try to weave that in to kind of like evolve Genoa's purpose, vision, mission, and values accordingly. And then we'd like to come up with a proposal on how Genoa could operate and function as a network to serve its purpose, and also how Genoa, the organization, could operate and function as a steward of the network. And we also like to come up with suggestions on long-term strategic plan and roadmap as reference for people to when they work together in Genoa. So the expected outcomes or the deliverables of this project will be a report of everything that includes the sharing of what we learned during our deep dive and the proposal of the Genoa structure as a network, Genoa office team structure as the stewards of the network, and the long-term strategic plan and roadmap. So I think with the project timeline, what is most important to note is that we will try to finish this by July, end of July, and engage in the social critic approval process and changes revision process with the council around that time. And something to note is also during this process, me and Ken will keep operational tasks at a minimum to focus on this project. The key members, the people who are will be me and Ken. We think we are well positioned to do this because we are the current 2 office members that will stay in place after DJ leave, and we do have some enough experience. Ken being in the office since July 2020 and mid-February last year. We're open to hear from the community and care about the thriving of Genoa. And we feel like we have little to no attachment on how Genoa has to be, and don't really have a predetermined notion of what Genoa should be. We are also estimating that we will be working about 30 hours a month per person. And we are budgeting for 20 paid hours and the rest voluntary hours. And we imagine to be supported with 1 to 2 volunteers, and also the key stakeholders that we will be engaging with includes the Genoa Council, Wisdom Keepers, the Eco-Village representatives, also Genoa active collaborators like project members, volunteers, and maybe also like program participants, people who benefit from Genoa's work. And we will access historical and experience and wisdom through consulting with Trudy and DJ and plus other office team members. And finally, the project cost. The resource allocated for this in total is 1,400 GBP from Genoa budget this year. And this is to cover the 20 hours per month per person for 5 months from March until July this year. So that is the project in brief. So I think we can open for questions and comments and feedback now.
I love it. I think it's great. And I think you two are the perfect people to do it, you know, with all the reasons you suggested. And I just love the clarity of the proposal and all the different parts. And you have my full support.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add that I totally agree. It makes absolute sense. It's a really great initiative. It's a wonderful solution. And you've already been doing the work prior to, so we're very grateful and lucky that you've been doing a lot of this work voluntarily already. So I would like to fully support this notion and get the show on the road.
Thank you, Talia.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I've already told the both of you, like, I'm so happy that the two of you are doing this. Really grateful for your presence, both of you. I really feel strongly, I feel like there's really the exact name of the project. It is what it is, and then we know what to expect at the end. It is going to be the butterfly. And incidentally, we used to have a butterfly. We still do have a butterfly in Genoa's logo. So maybe this is the next stage for Genoa. I'm really happy about that.
Thank you, DJ. So Ken, do you want to add anything or?
Yeah, thank you, Livian. You did a great job in presenting it. I don't really have anything to add. I just want to say that we're very open to learn from everyone and for what emerged as well. So this is for us is also a learning process. So yeah, we'll see and hope to have your blessing, but also your support during this whole project.
Yeah, ditto that. Thank you, Ken. It's yeah, for me it's also exciting to learn more about Genoa from different people. I've always been curious to hear more from different perspectives, and let's see what we can bring and weave it in together. I'm excited to see what's the outcome of this.
Hi, can I have 2 minutes to share a story of China about butterfly?
Sure, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a very wise master. He's very famous. He's like with like Laos, like a Taoism, Lao Tzu. And there's a very famous story of this. There's a nun, Zhuangzi. This is the name of the person, the master. Zhuangzi is sleeping, it's having a nap, and he dreamed a butterfly. And when he wakes up, he doesn't know he is the butterfly in the dream, or the butterfly is him in his life. So this is a very famous like philosophy story. Like, are we us in the real world, or we are a dream? We are the dream of the butterfly, or butterfly is the dream of us. So, okay, finished.
Thank you, Karen. I've never heard that story about from Zhuangzi. Cool. It's good to know. And yeah, now I'm gonna pass it to DJ to see how the budgets are going for this year.
Thank you, Vivian. So we have a very simple and simplified budget, which was edited multiple times and finally edited also yesterday, including all the input that we received from everyone, especially from Kin and Luvian, and sort of restructuring the finances for this year. So our entire budget for 2022 is going to be 16,589 pounds, and the rest of the budget here is predominantly for stipends. Then this is going to be the contingent, 3,741, and then there are projects like Luvian mentioned before. One is the Metamorph project. Then there's a leftover amount for region nations here of 1,800 pounds, and so on. And what is not reflective of this budget right here is the 5,000 pounds that we received through Lush Limited, which came, I think, yesterday or the day before. So that will be that is not open funding, that is specifically for the Region Nations project, which Region Nations project is also intending to bring more income, hopefully also to cover the cost of roughly 3,000 pounds that Genoa has already forwarded the project. Yes, and this section here is the Gaia Trust reporting. So if you feel like you would like to go check out what we have proposed to the Gaia Trust, you can also click on this link here. This link is also, all the links that we shared today are also in the meeting notes and agenda document. Yes, that is in general what it is. You can also go and comment, make your comments straight into the 2022 master financials of Genoa. There are already some comments that we considered through email as well, and we also had a budget meeting and shuffled some of the amounts around. So this is rather the final version that we have arrived at. I'm open for questions.
Just congratulations on the Lush funding. I think that's amazing. So good to know. So good to have that for this year for the team.
Thank you, Trudy. I think Amina was instrumental in Region Nations receiving those funds. So thank you, Amina.
Thank you. With a lot of effort from Kin and also Natalie from Region Nations.
I just want to maybe share one thing that Luvian and I also, in the effort of we want to have the budget for the Metamorph project, but also don't want that to exploit much into Genoa budget. So what the solution that we created was that we downsign our hours in the office during the months of the Metamorph. So part of our stipends for the office hour will be moved to the Metamorph project. So it doesn't have to get extra, a lot of extra funding from Genoa.
Thank you, Ken. And I think Ken and Lubian already mentioned that during the Metamorph project, during that time, the office functions of Genoa will be brought to a very minimum and just barely being maintained to have just general work done. I want to highlight that. If there are no more questions, maybe we can give a thumbs up as blessings for the budget. And of course, if you have any strong objections after looking at the rest of the budget, then thank you, Trudy, thank you, Amina, thank you, Karen. Yeah, we can always have further discussion later. Thank you, everyone. Let's move to another official task that we are supposed to do in our AGM is to select the relevant members, the public officer / president, the secretary, and the treasurer. By default, right now, we still have to keep you in the public officer / president role, Trudy, because you're the only one who's there in Queensland. If that's okay with you, and thank you. Next is the secretary's position, which is also currently held by Trudy as of our last AGM. And Trudy also did mention that she would like to step out already last year, but we were not able to find someone. But this year, I would like to propose Kin take on that role if possible, and if anyone has any strong objections or if anyone can consent with their thumbs up, then yeah, thank you everyone. So let the record show that Kin is now the secretary of Genoa Incorporated. Thank you very much, everyone. Next position, congratulations, Kin. Next position that is also is the treasurer's position, which is held by me currently. I would like if anyone else can step in and take this position over. However, I am still also okay to have this, to hold on to this position and help with the general finances till the next AGM, which will be next year. So maybe there is hopefully a better suited person who is capable of also actively being carrying out the functions for the years after. So does anyone have any proposals to replace me right now? I would like to be, but if not, I'm happy to hold on.
I guess the only thing that we did actually discuss earlier on in the week was once we actually do get more people on board, maybe we are also creating opportunities for some of our people that are onboarding as members, as contributors. We can also onboard them into some of these tasks so that they can consider taking these positions on in the future. So DJ, I'm very happy if you are happy to stay on board. However, you know, if we are seeing in amongst our existing circle, or if there are others out there that may want to learn from you, at this time, I think it's a very good idea. What does everybody else think about that idea?
Yeah, I think that'll be great. So I'm still wondering if like who are willing to do to come up for this role. Do you have any names in mind? Or
What we did
explore,
discuss.
maybe.
Yes, I think what we did discuss is that, you know, very soon we could potentially call for more contributors within Genoa, and then that circle will grow, and then we can start to approach people that may be interested in learning from DJ and yourselves and others.
Thank you, Talia. So essentially, this board that we have is a pseudo board. So still the office team will be carrying out the functions. For example, it made sense for me to be the treasurer because I'm already doing the accounting. And with regard to the activity reporting, Trudy was doing it before and now Kim is doing it. So it would make sense for her to be the secretary as well. So it is still okay to have a completely another person to be holding that position, but then maybe someone in the office team will still carry out the work, unless that person is also interested in getting their hands into the operations, the office work of it. So it's quite open. I am still okay and happy to hold on to this till next year. Till the next AGM, so that, you know, we have enough time to find suitable people and to also give the training that they need.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to use this year. Like I'm also seeing the chats that, you know, to find the right persons, and then, you know, because it will take time, and also you want to get to know people, and if they have the capacity and you have the trust in them to do it, and then for DJ to hold onto that role until the next AGM. And it might take like in the second half of the year where DJ will have to do the handover to a new person. You know, so also remembering that DJ doesn't step out of his role till mid-year, and then it's in the second half of the year you'll have time and space to, you know, find someone, train someone, and then by the next AGM have that new person already in place. Yeah. And also just to put it out there, you know, like the official management team number as an incorporated association in Queensland is 3 people, and that's the president / public officer, secretary, treasurer. But your management committee can also be more than that. You can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You can have 15 people, you know, so there's no reason why Genoa management committee can't be more than that. And you can have various roles as part of that committee, and that could be a communications role, a networking role, which already Genoa has. So just to think about that as you, especially as you guys go into this Metamorph project, Ken and Luvian. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Trudy. All right. So then in that case, if there are no objections, let the record also show that I am still the treasurer, and Kim is the new secretary, and Trudy will remain as the public officer / president of Genoa Incorporated. Thank you very much, everyone. Next, we move on. This was our last official task of the AGM. So thank you, everyone, for sticking along till now. Next, we're going to open for just any other business that we didn't speak about. Yeah, if anyone has any other business that they would like to bring up, to note down, so we can even have a meeting later, specific meeting later. I think Kin, Luvian, maybe they showed interest about having projects meeting for all the projects later, so we can discuss if we want to do a date for that. And if anyone else,
Yeah, I would love to hear if there are any other suggestions on points that we would love to discuss, and then Luby and I can send out a doodle for our next meeting. Okay, so there seems to be no other matter of concerns as of now, but of course you can
Yeah.
always raise it later.
Yes, yeah, and we always have an open line, the three of us. So thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, I think that kind of concludes our AGA. And we have closing. Thank you, Talia. Thank you, Amina. Would anyone feel called to do a closing for us today? We have thank you written in all the beautiful languages, not all languages that represent our immediate Genoa community here. And if there is something that is not accurate here that we might have misspelled or mistyped, then please also feel free to change it or let us know.
Hi, DJ. When you come to China, please contact me. I have places, good places to live and stay, and a lot of food.
Thank you. I love dumplings. I love
Everyone.
dumplings.
Kim said, how about us, Karen?
Everyone.
So yeah, if it's okay, I would invite everyone to check out with the one word of blessing for Genoa this year. Well, it could be, well, a few words. It's not necessarily one word, but yeah, maybe basically your blessing for Genoa this year.
I will start because I need to leave very shortly. So my one word is unity. And I say the word unity because that's what the world needs right now. So I send my love, my prayers, my strength in unity with you all. Ngā mihi, kia koutou katoa.
Thank you, Talia. Bye. Are you
Bye,
leaving now?
Talia. Catch up with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, please.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dalia.
My word is wisdom. Yeah, and I think just it's, you know, I think the Metamorph project is kind of rooted in that, and it's also something we need in the world right now, something we need to instill in our children so we can just make those decisions and do the things that are right because of love and, you know, from our heart. So may wisdom guide you this year.
My word is like flower blossom and butterfly flying. It's like I think butterfly is a flying flower. So I wish this could be the image of Genoa in 2022.
Thanks, Karen. My word, I have 3 words. It's clarity, alignment, and flourishing.
My word is, well, I have a couple of words. Strength, endurance, courage, insight, and compassion.
Thank you, everyone. My word is surrender to the flow of the universe. So yeah, I would hope the universe will guide us, and Mother Earth will guide us through this process. Very important, but also really deep that we're gonna tap on together. And thank you for all your beautiful words as well. And with this, yeah, let's close this beautiful AGM of today. And I hope to catch up with all of you very soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Olivia and DJ, Karen.
谢谢大家。
谢谢。
Good.
Right, we can stop the recording, Kim.